Hello there, good afternoon. This is Founder Rune, and I am going to talk about Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. I've been anticipating this module to come out for quite some time. I wasn't sure what form or how it was going to be released or even what the product was, but now that we're getting closer to it, I thought I would touch on some things that might help you with Fantasy Grounds in regards to this setting. So with that in mind, right now I have the Gothic theme loaded up in the D&D 5e rule set. This little background thing is an image that's provided to you if you load the extension, which is the decals for this particular rule set. I also have some content from the DM's Guild that I have gathered up that might be of interest to you if you've never purchased anything on the DM's Guild or if you're still kind of new to the hobby. So basically, this is a theme that I've loaded. It's kind of basically in the theme of Curse of Strahd and Gothic horror. In the theme itself has a pretty cool like dice tower, the gargoyle. So when you drop the dice in there, the eyes light up, which is really cool. So let me do that again. Maybe I can get out of your way so you can see it. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then these are tarot cards that come from the Vistani. So in my history with Ravenloft, I was an avid collector of the content. I had all the second edition stuff. I had the original module. I had the add-on modules. I even went so far as having all the research done on things that touched on Ravenloft. Like if you played in Dark Sun back then, there was a place that connected to the Domains of Dread. And then if you were in other settings, there was places like Planescape where you could actually travel back and forth from wherever you were to Ravenloft. But usually it's a one-way trip. Unless you find the key or the element of the adventure that releases you from the bonds of the Domains of Dread, then you're pretty much stuck there. Usually that entails you solving the module or defeating the Dark Lord or whatever it might be. But nonetheless, Ravenloft was one of my favorite modules from the original AD&D. And then when the second edition came out, I owned the box set and all the Realms of Terror, and I had all the books and all the add-ons, and one of them was the Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft. So I think that Wizards of the Coast decided to resurrect that product and make it a little bit more new, put some new twists on it, give you some more information on how to set up your own Domain of Dread. They're going to add 30 new possibilities for locations and probably 30 or more Darklords. Plus, you're going to get some NPCs. And not to mention, you're going to get new maps and all kinds of good stuff. And then I think there's some magic items and NPCs, monsters, and there are a few player options, not many, but there's some interesting backgrounds. And then some, I think you can play the... let's see, there's some playable races like the Awakened or something like that, and then there's like or the Resurrected, and then there's another one called the Damphir Vampire. So there's a few racial options in there. But nonetheless, I'm going to focus and show you some stuff that's already out. Obviously, Curse of Strahd is the main campaign setting. It probably always will be. The Van Richten's Guide is more of a supplement that will give you more locations and expand upon what Curse of Strahd did. So in my library, I have some content loaded, and a lot of this is third-party stuff. So other than the Curse of Strahd, I have the Ravenloft Night of the Walking Dead Under a Blue Moon. I think this is put out by, let's see, who put this out? Well, most of these are put out by either Grim Press or Rob Toohey. So if you are into buying content, those are the main publishing places that convert these over so you can have them in Fantasy Grounds. So we have Curse of the Strahd, The Wedding at Castle Ravenloft. There's a Curse of Strahd module. Then there's this Ravenloft Night of the Walking Dead Under a Bloody Moon. There's Ravenloft Prey of the Black Wolf, and there's a player's guide for that. And then I have the core books loaded, of course. And then there's a module I found that's 100 books on a Ravenloft bookshelf. So if you went to these items, you would find all these different books. And immediately when I saw that, I thought, you know, what a cool way to tie this in with the new setting that or the new collection of modules that was put out for Candlekeep Mysteries. So I thought it'd be a great idea if one of these books or 2 copies of it existed in the entire universe, and they were connected somehow. And when you read the book in the library, it transforms the library or where you are in space into like a slipstream where you actually get involved with the setting, and you will get kind of trapped there until you solve whatever it is. And that might be a good way to segue into one of the other adventures without being too hokey. The other thing I thought of was, on the other end, maybe it's your way to find out more information and lore above what the book gives you. So there's that. There's a couple different sets of maps that were released. There's a free version, and then there's like a pay what you want. So these are map sets that were created to recreate Castle Ravenloft and make it a little bit more playable and easier to use with Fantasy Grounds. So in other words, they'll add the line of sight to it already. I don't know if this high res one is already done, but nonetheless, I know the Castle Ravenloft player maps is done. Somebody has put out a adventure sidekicks for Curse of Strahd, and it has some NPCs that might be useful to you, and they're in NPC format, and it has all these different NPCs that show up throughout the module that can be put in different scenarios and different levels. So you can definitely use these in your campaign, which is really nice. So those are NPC sidekicks. Then you have the Book of the Dead, which gives you some new classes, and like College of the Dirge, Circle of Blight, Fighter has a Soul Blade, and the Wizard has the Blood Magus. So there are some options in there that kind of expand upon what's already out there. And there are some spells and such. And that's what you would expect from a supplement or complement. So here you have the Curse of Strahd, Death of House script, and Escaping Death House skill challenges. So there's an images and maps area, and this goes along with the Death House module, which was an introductory module for the Curse of Strahd setting. Somebody has put out a shop place, so you have parcels, and these would be things that would be available in Ravenloft, and they're probably priced accordingly. So if you shop at any stores there, and if you read the story, it gives you an idea of what the stores are and what they have in them. So all the items are linked to the areas here. So if you go on this wand of whatever this is, it's negative 50 gold. So that means that if you grab the item and drag it to your character sheet, or excuse me, to your character sheet, it will deduct the gold. That's pretty cool. And then here's the player's guide. There's a couple options in there. I added the Volo's guide to the library just in case. I don't think I need much out of there, but another one called Dark Magic of Faerun. I thought that might play into a way that you can open the gates. There's a domain of Ravenloft that someone created based off the original content, and this is Saran, which is one of the demi-planes. There's someone made up some encounters here for Castle Ravenloft, and there's just additional counters. It has a nice reference manual. It talks about what the actual encounters are, and then there are some mythic actions that I picked up recently that, in case you want to play a vampire, there are some items here that are coded, and basically it expands upon the original on the original NPCs. So you have a mythic vampire spellcaster, and a mythic vampire warrior. So they're kind of based off of the sidekick kind of model. And then you have all these other mythic creatures. But I thought that having a mummy lord and the mythic dragon, a Dracolich, or a Demilich, or anything like that would be useful. And then you have this Strahd's Dark Servants, which is just another bunch of NPCs and some new stuff. You have like the pickled zombie, you have the hound marshal, So these are kind of more the bat mongrel. So these are more basically interpretations that other people have made and some creatures that can be added to your setting. And then you have the Book of the Dead and Undead Bestiary. So there's a whole bunch of undead in here, which would be really helpful for any campaign. They probably collected most of the ones that are available, and they've done some nice work with it. I'm curious if they made any tokens. Yeah, they left the tokens out, but you can always add your own. So that's just some content that you can get that will supplement your existing campaigns. The only thing I don't see in here is I don't have the Death House module, which is amazing because I have everything else. So there's a story here for the, let's see, this is the actual module. And I think it's a kind of a combined thing. And then it has the challenges in here, some optional endings. So this is pretty cool. And then I've went and made a couple graphics here. So I have this poster that I was using earlier for the intro video. This one I added a little mist. I didn't have the lightning, but this is something I threw together. And then I had the a map pack that was put out by, I think, Angela Maps. She's in the EU, but she put out a map pack, and one of them happens to be a caravan, kind of caravan wagon. I thought this might be a good map to use if you ever encounter the Vistani. And she's already added the line of sight, so if you unlock this and you turn on line of sight, it's already added. And then you just add your tokens, and the different things will show up and appear as they need to for the shadows. But as you can see, the map also has shadows on it, so I'm not sure how that works. But when the new lighting feature comes out, that'll be a thing. So that's cool. So if you are somebody that is really involved with this type of rule set and you like the content out there, this would be great. Yeah, Death House is part of Curse of Strahd, but it's also a separate module so that you can build upon it. You'd have different assets, that sort of thing. Yeah, the screaming guy. That's the son of the preacher that you meet where he was turned into a vampire. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And the rest of the content here is just basically stuff that I've collected from the DM's Guild over time. So looking forward to this. It looks like we'll be getting this here in about a little over a month. I hope all of you are going to pick it up or be involved with the game at least. And I'm looking forward to doing a review on the module once it comes out. I hope that all of you have a good day and have a good week, and I will see you on the next time when I do another